For the last 2 days, on Monday and today this morning, I spoke with the President of South Africa, who sought me out to speak with me on this matter because of their involvement in Eastern Congo. And he's also there pretending to be playing a peacemaker role, and he has a force that has been fighting alongside FDLR and has been fighting the M23 on the instructions of Tshisekedi, because these are people who are not supposed to be in Congo, that these are from Rwanda or the M23.
Kukhona ingoma engingayiculanga la. Ngifuna ukuyindlalela le ngoma because I don't want it to be misunderstood. We want to say in the light of American, let's not be provoked. Those who are starting war is a very difficult thing.
Here are the allegations. Rwanda feels like South Africa is in DR Congo to partner with the soldiers of DRC and fight M23. Is that Rwanda's problem? Maybe not. But the problem now is every time M23, who are Rwandan people who live in Congo, gets headline, it's Paul Kagame who's being blamed. I think that is the problem. Another problem, of course, is the fact that you come to think of it, and let's correct this myth. You know, when I say we do not want South Africa should be withdrawn, should withdraw its fight, people think we are saying it because South Africa is weak. The South African National Defence Force is weak. No, it's not weak. It's not weak. And you know, when things are managed poorly and you tend to think otherwise, it doesn't matter. And I don't want us to get into that who's the best. There are rankings. I mean, there's a 2023 ranking that puts South Africa at number 3. You've got Algeria, you've got Egypt and stuff. And I really don't care any of those things. And I know people would say, Mashan, you should care. Yes, I understand I should care. But for the context that we're speaking about, it doesn't care, because the only way to prove that you are number 1 is to conquer the other people. And this is exactly what I don't want, for Africans to prove which one is the bigger country. If we are in South Africa, we say as South Africans, we do not want to see Zamazamas infiltrating our minds, and we speak to Mozambique, and these people keep infiltrating our mind. Do you know what's going to happen? South Africa might fight back. This is South Africa protecting itself. But South Africa in Congo, it's not defending itself. It's not defending itself, and it's not defending mineral interests that South Africa as a country benefits. We are not sure how much South Africa is benefiting from those. Rwanda, no contest. Rwanda is benefiting from those, either on the black market or directly. Doesn't matter. GOMA is just next door to Rwanda. I mean, the lake. I mean, the lake Kivu. You just take a ship, you take the minerals to Rwanda. Rwanda is benefiting because there are people of Rwanda, and this is why I keep saying that we involve ourselves with things that don't matter. By the way, let me start with the white missionaries. I released a podcast that shows you that we are forever given media, I don't want to say misinformation, select media for agenda setting. Because what these people want is for us to think of things otherwise. Two questions here. Number one, the question is, if the white militia were arrested, there were Europeans who were arrested who were much frogged. They were arrested. Well, maybe arrested, maybe captured because they surrendered and they were taken to Rwanda so they can fly out. So you ask yourself, how many of those were killed? I don't know. Why didn't South Africans also raise their hands? And of course the white flag. And this thing of beating each other, we are not even sure, because Kagame says those people were fighting alongside the enemies of M23. If you are with my enemy when I'm shooting the enemy, you will get hurt. You will get hurt. So we don't know the facts. What we know is it's a group of unscrupulous African leaders who are fighting in Congo. My president, your country, everyone's country is involved there. There are a lot of people who are eating, and they are eating with international communities. Everyone is eating there. The saddest thing, and this is why we make this podcast, is let us not fight each other trying to please your Western handler, because it's us who's going to suffer. It's us who's suffering. So how many people died? How many white missionaries died? Why did they surrender and why didn't we surrender? Because we do not know all of those facts. All I'm saying is we keep getting hurt as Africans on things that we could just have spoken about it. So we are freed. Cyril Ramaphosa is pretending. This is the assertion from Rwanda. Cyril Ramaphosa is pretending to be a peacekeeper while he's with that. All those countries, this is what I think, all those countries who are there in Eastern. By the way, do you know how far GOMA is? The other day I spoke about how big Congo is. Do you know how far GOMA is? So GOMA is about it's far, man. GOMA, distance between GOMA it's further from Musina to Cape Town. So GOMA is about 2,600 kilometers. That's far. And you don't have N1 in those jungles. Sometimes you have to take a ship. So it's far. That's why people fly in between GOMA, because it's an international airport. That's why people fly from GOMA to Kinshasa. That's where the capital is. So that thing is far removed. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just to bring perspective of how remote those places are. And another one, do you know how big GOMA is? GOMA is 2 million inhabited city. Do you know how big is 2 million? The population of Botswana is almost 2 million, up and below 2 million. Lesotho, around those figures. So GOMA is as big, I'm talking about in terms of capacity, population, it's as big as Botswana in terms of population. So those people are, and majority of them, they speak Kenya-Rwanda. So if they speak Kenya-Rwanda and Banya-Rwanda, those people are almost Rwandanese. That's why at some point we should say, how do we stop the peace? Cut out that thing and give it to Rwanda. But of course, I think the reason we are here is because those things failed, because the people who cut those boundaries, it's not us, it's actually Leopold, the most evil man in the history of humankind. They will hardly ever tell you. They will tell you about a Ugandan man called Idi Amin. But they will hide Leopold. By the way, I hosted a lady who was married to a Belgian man. It's a South African. I said, do you know the history of Leopold? Well, she knows. Anyway, Martian political incorrect. I just want you to so we could fix this thing. People think the reason we say South Africa must not fight is because we are saying they are not supposed to fight because we are weak. They are not supposed to fight. It's not. It's immaterial. If we have to fight as Africans, we must fight together to fight other people. As Africans, protecting all of our interests. And I know my view is naive because the people who eat don't even think about this. They want to eat amongst each other. Imagine if those armies confront each other. They say, no, the reason we are here is because they just need to make that place ungovernable so they can allow their own ferries to take this. So when you send your soldiers there, and I said I don't want to speak about this as if I know, because I don't know. All of this is just fiction. I don't know, but what I assume is people send their armies there to go and protect their routes, where their people are mining and they're protecting their routes to take the thing out of the country, whether they fly out of Goma, out of the sea, whatever. That's why people are sending their stuff there, not to protect RWANDA or, you know. So I want to cut this by saying it's immaterial if South Africa will fight Rwanda. We don't want it to happen. And it would be foolish of us to say, prove it to them. Prove it to who? Because those minerals that South Africa is involved in, or whose interest, I don't think South Africa as a country is benefiting. If they are, but they're not telling us. But the multinational corporations who are working in South Africa, who are at the behest of South Africa, who are sending Ramaphosa to go and do those things, those people are benefiting. Let me leave it at that. What are the other points of argument you guys are saying? I mean, someone is telling us in the comments that the guys who are M23 are not Rwandanese, and they're not Tutsi. I don't want to even debate that. That information is there. You could see that those people are Congolese, those people are Tutsi, Kebanya Rwanda, of that eastern part of Congo, in north or even in south Kivu. But anyway, let me leave it at that. Thank you. Let's keep debating. I'm just happy, even though, I mean, people are, I'm just happy Cyril Ramaphosa is not extending this to fight back. I did commend him in the past to say he hasn't sent soldiers to go and fight, because this fight, this war, it's one of those unnecessary wars. War is a very difficult thing. And there were others who were casting aspersions on the person, like Penwell. What Penwell is saying is, for example, if you know Ian Kagame is Paul's, I think he must be his last born. He's in his 20s. He's a trained soldier. He studied in the US, he went to military school, he's a military man himself, and he's part of the guard that protects senior politicians there. Let me reiterate, there's nothing wrong and there's a daughter of Kagame there. Then let's talk about Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa's sons, family are all in business. So all I'm saying is, if you compare the two, you are going to get to a place where we are going to go into personality politics, and that's not important for us. Let me just leave it there. You just think it for yourself. Thank you, Mashiane.
For the last 2 days, on Monday and today this morning, I spoke with the President of South Africa, who sought me out to speak with me on this matter because of their involvement in Eastern Congo. And he's also there pretending to be playing a peacemaker role, and he has a force that has been fighting alongside FDLR and has been fighting the M23 on the instructions of Tshisekedi, because these are people who are not supposed to be in Congo, that these are from Rwanda, or the M23 are not Rwandans, please. These are Congolese, and one time he accepts it, then another time he says, no, part of it is yes, and then the other part is from Rwanda, and these are He keeps on going. And how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him? And South Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that, and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about. Maybe they should have done that exactly for which they have been issuing threats. They should have done it to clean up the mess in Eastern Congo, or to fight back those who have been trying to clean up the mess. So then you have the whole international community just confused. They talked about Rwanda, they talked about the Nairobi process. Honestly, even here, maybe you will help me understand what all this means. The processes became an end in themselves. And the people leading these processes became more important than the results of the processes. The Nairobi process became a Uhuru process. Then the Rwanda process, it's like you can't say anything that will displease President Lorenzo. Definitely, this does not help deal with such a serious matters as we are faced with today. That in the end, just because they can't be addressed, we have such a situation that, like we have now. And if anybody, and above all, I don't understand how Tshisekedi keeps thinking that he will resolve the problems to do with rights of people militarily. Kill them, shoot them, bring in forces that are ready to help, like especially Burundi. Well, I don't know whether that has been helpful for the last few days or weeks. They have been doing that. So I want us to, Chairman, Your Excellencies, I want us, whatever we are saying and whatever we intend to do, we capture the context rightly and then proceed based on that, and maybe we can get somewhere. But otherwise, if we keep saying good things, saying that, and to each other, being nice, and then each one fulfilling their own interests other than others' interests, the common interests we have as East Africans, then I don't see how we are going to contribute effectively to finding a solution. But really, to have even had East African community expelled from Eastern Congo and everybody complied and then there was quiet, it's as if it was normal or that is okay. Everything dictated by the country or the person we are trying to help. I didn't understand that. And that's where we are now. That's how we are here, where we are. So let me maybe for now stop here. I would really want to hear advice of others, but I think it's not just a plaything. It's not, it's a serious matter, evidently, because it consumes people's lives. And the other day, 2-3 days ago, we lost people. There was a lot of sharing from Eastern Congo, from GOMA, and killed a dozen people and injured hundreds. We will definitely take care of that. There's no question about it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Brave and courageous members of the South African National Defence Force and our loyal and patriotic South African society, I come to you as a commander of the Armed Forces of South Africa to thank you for always standing by your defence force at all times, even in moments of calamity. We in the South African National Defence Force come from the people and serve for the people. As such, we will march together with our people in the defense of our beloved South Africa, our motherland. It is with a heavy heart that I stand before you today to address the tragic loss of our brave South African National Defence Force soldiers who lost their lives in the DRC. These soldiers were part of Southern African Development Community Mission in the DRC, SAMI DRC, and the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC, MONUSCO. Both MONUSCO and SAMI DRC share a common mandate to support regional and international efforts in achieving lasting peace and security in the DRC. SAMI DRC and FIB, which is a component of MONUSCO, were both deployed with the mandate, among others, to support the Democratic Republic of Congo in neutralizing negative forces and armed groups in the eastern DRC in order to restore and maintain peace and security and create a secure environment. They were also to provide support to the efforts of the government of the DRC in creating a conducive environment for humanitarian assistance and providing humanitarian relief to the population affected by the military and paramilitary activities in the eastern DRC, including internally displaced persons. Protect critical infrastructure in the eastern DRC and protect civilians and their properties under imminent threat of attack. The circumstances leading to this tragic event are complex and multifaceted. SAMI DRC, comprising soldiers from Malawi, South Africa, and Tanzania, was deployed in December 2023 to the eastern part of the DRC. Their main operating base was established in Sake, near the city of GOMA, an area plagued by violence and instability for many years. The primary threat in this area comes from the rebel group that is alleged to be armed, supported, trained and accompanied by the Rwandan Defense Force. SAMI DRC conducted its mandated tasks and, in the process, faced intermittent bombardment from M23 throughout the year 2024. In response, our forces executed counter-bombardments. On the fateful day of 23rd January 2025, the M23 rebels launched a full-scale attack on our troops in an attempt to take control of Sake, aiming to gain access to Goma, the provincial capital of Eastern DRC. Fierce fighting ensued, and our soldiers displayed extraordinary bravery and determination. They successfully halted the M23 advancement and pushed them back, preventing the rebels from achieving their objective. However, this decisive pushback at Sake came at a great cost, resulting in the loss of 13 of our gallant fighters. Regrettably, on Monday, the 27th January 2025, several long-range mortar bombs were launched towards Goma Airport, with some landing in the South African National Defence Force base, leading to the loss of 3 additional South African National Defence Force soldiers. The families of the fallen heroes have already been notified, and plans are underway to repatriate the remains of our gallant soldiers back home to South Africa. Meanwhile, M23 reported suffering heavy personnel losses and subsequently requested SAMI DRC to hold fire so they could recover the bodies of their fallen members around Sake. We consented to this request. However, SAMI DRC set conditions including a demand for the safe passage of injured soldiers to Goma for medical treatment. The South African National Defence Force, as part of SAMI DRC, remains steadfast in supporting all peace-building efforts aimed at addressing the escalating violence, finding peaceful resolution to the conflict, and averting a humanitarian crisis. At this painful moment, we lower our banners in honor of our fallen heroes and the ultimate sacrifice they have made. Their bravery in the face of danger has protected countless lives and upheld the values of peace and security that we strive to achieve. May their souls rest in peace, and may their families find comfort and strength during this difficult time. I thank you.
The troops of Congo surrendered. The troops of Burundi, where they were supposed to cover another flank, they also disappeared. And all of a sudden, these troops of South Africa ended up being attacked by mortars and so on. But I think their reaction, the way they have reacted, they acted with speed, and I also am awaiting for the UN to come up with statistics as to how many rebels have been shot at in that incident, so as to see that our troops were fighting and effective. Around Thursday, Friday morning, they said they are running out of ammunition and they wanted a reinforcement. The ammunition was sent by Saturday evening. It was in Eastern GOMA and so on. So in terms of the issues related to us coming back and bringing those troops back now, the situation currently is as follows. Our government is in contact with the United Nations so that they can facilitate the transportation of